Hey, Straw Hat Sam here. I need your help. So the Pigeon project is in a little bit of jeopardy. The reason why is because Blackmagic Design are shipping out Pocket 4K cameras with firmware version 7.3, and in this firmware the camera does not boot up if the LCD is not connected to the camera. So this puts the Pigeon kind of dead in the water because this will greatly impact the workflow of the drone on set. So, I've been working on the Pigeon for a year now, and it's been extremely challenging for me. There were actually 2 previous times where I felt like I was giving up on the whole Pigeon project. The first time was even designing the airframe such that you could get smooth footage no matter what throttle point you were at. But I was plagued with this mid-throttle oscillation issue that even 7 generations in, I was still getting this issue. And it turns out I just needed chunky ass motors, so I stepped up to 2810 and that fixed my issue. But it was like these breakthrough things that kept me going. The second time I almost gave up was when I was designing the flex assemblies for the camera. In order to expand the interface, manufacturing these flex circuits is quite expensive, so I had to order prototypes and then hand solder them myself. And every time it wouldn't work, I would doubt myself, I would doubt my design and be thinking, am I doing this wrong? I've invested so much, but right here is where it could all end. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with this firmware debacle. Let me tell you exactly what's going on with it. Firmware 7.3 has a Generation 5 color science, which is a good thing, but it also means that you can't downgrade to version 6.9.6. For some reason, firmware 7.3 cannot be upgraded to 7.4 either, or downgraded. This is different for old cameras that came with a firmware other than 7.3. You can upgrade and downgrade those all you want. But if you get a camera that comes from the factory with 7.3, it's locked. You can't upgrade, you can't downgrade, it's stuck. And it has something to do with this Generation 5 color science. I've tried all sorts of things, taking apart the camera, pressing buttons, trying to find some kind of hack or puzzle in order to get the camera to downgrade so I can actually use it without the screen. But it hasn't worked, and I've contacted Blackmagic Design through email already, and they're going to look into a backdoor method. But in the meantime, what I want to focus our efforts toward is making firmware version 7.5 the key to unlocking this thing. If we don't fix this, there's going to be no pigeons for anybody. And if there are, they're not going to be very useful. They're going to be a burden on sets. So this is extremely important. All that beautiful footage that I've been posting on my YouTube channel, all the amazing sets that I've been going to, utilizing the Pigeon in crazy situations where I can fly close but also have tremendous camera quality, no one's going to have that. It's not going to happen. So yeah, this is a big deal. The solution, what I think is a possible solution, is to reach out to Blackmagic in mass. I'm not asking for money. This is not a fundraiser. What I'm asking for is your time. And if the Pigeon is something that's important to you, and if you're a potential customer, you definitely need to get in on this. What I want you to do is go to Blackmagic Design, their website, go to their customer support, fill out the form, and then write them a short letter explaining why they need to do the following 3 things. What we need to happen is make 7.3, cameras that were shipped with 7.3, be upgradable. They can't be downgraded because of this Generation 5 color space thing. But it has to be upgradable. And 7.4, I guess, doesn't support 7.3. I don't know. But whatever. The next firmware, 7.5, needs to be able to support whatever firmware is shipped on the cameras. So that's the second thing. Those 2, if you forget those things in your letter, don't worry about it. The main thing is for the next firmware, 7.5, which is going to be after 7.4, the camera has to be able to boot up without the screen attached, because this is the killer thing. This is the thing that totally breaks the Pigeon's back. It's the last straw. And if it's not able to boot without the LCD screen attached, it totally throws a wrench into our whole vision, and the Pigeon is dead. So please take the time to fill out the form, write a letter, and talk about, like, if you don't have a Pigeon, talk about the things that you've seen people do with it, or what the kind of projects you have that are coming up, ways that you'll use the Pigeon and their camera on these really cool sets. And for those who already have a Pigeon and have been using them on sets, talk about the companies that you shot for commercial productions, or even some feature film stuff if you've done that. Let them know where their cameras are ending up all over the world, because the Pigeon is an opportunity for Blackmagic design as well. Sure, they may not like me taking apart their cameras and dissecting it, but it's an opportunity for their cameras to get on sets that they otherwise would not have. Because all the big productions I've seen down here in LA, they're using Arri, Red, maybe Sony. I'm not seeing Blackmagic design here. And the only way it's going to get on these big sets, is with very specialized equipment like the Pigeon. So in the end, I think this will benefit Blackmagic design, and I don't think they're trying to work against me. I think they want to work with me, but we have to show them that there's a demand for this, and that there are people behind this that are going to use the Pigeon in order to create great things. So please take the time and help me out so that the Pigeon can survive this last hurdle.